Yo, yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another live stream. It feels like we was just here, I don't know, Saturday maybe, but here we are again, right on time, right scheduling good, right off the bat. I don't know why, but somebody in the chat room is saying we need a quick sound check. So, let's do a quick sound check. Mic check, mic. I think we're doing pretty good. Volume's looking pretty good, so hopefully it's working good for you guys. There is something dead in this cabin. I don't know what it is, but woo, I'm getting a whiff. That's going to be distracting. Never a dull moment out here in the cave, right? But let's talk missing people here. We got some weird stories that I wanted to share with you guys. A viewer sent me the story of today's live stream, which essentially it happened all the way back in like January, right? But two things I noticed about this case. It's crazy and really bad looking, and the community is mad. And also, it seems like all the bad stuff came out in January, right? This story came out in January, and there really hasn't been any updates ever since, right? I couldn't find anything. I'm looking around because I've been sitting here for like 15 minutes. It's not the mic. Am I sitting on something? Dang, dude. That is right. And it just started. How distracting. There's definitely something that has passed away in my smelling vicinity. This is going to be a fun live stream because the whole time I'm going to be like, how you doing? You know, I don't want to do that, but we'll see what happens. I'm going to have to find the source of that smell, though, because that's no bueno. No bueno. So we have that story I wanted to talk about. Also, there is a missing person. This story came out today, like a couple hours ago, and he is a Nebraska man who failed to return to his Maui hotel room. So this gentleman is now missing somewhere on the island of Maui? Is that the island? Maui Island? Or the beach? You know what I'm talking about. Wherever Maui is located, this is where this gentleman is missing. We're going to put his face out there, see if we can get some answers. I don't know if it's a skunk or not, man. It smells like death. You smell death, you know what death smells like. There is what is this? This story is about, her name, see here, Hannah Kobayashi, and she went missing after she missed her flight. I guess she was leaving Hawaii and she missed her flight. Like she landed connecting in LA to go to New York, and she never made it home. So talk about that case, and then a creepy case I just came across. And apparently this is an ongoing thing, but I just randomly came across a story like an hour ago, and it was put out a couple days ago. But I guess a human head was found on the beach where a swimmer drowned after he saved his sister. So that's graphic and crazy and sad, but we'll dive into the details about that one. And then there is, I'm surprised there's no update about this one, but the story goes, because this happened yesterday. It posted yesterday. There was an update today, but the update is this person is still missing. Apparently there was a car crash, and they said the person was possibly ejected during the wreck, and they still haven't found him. So that's sad. But like the wreck was, like the crash was reported 9:30 p.m. yesterday, and I don't know if this story has never been updated. We'll dive into that one also. And the Q&A form is up and running. If you guys want to have your questions, comments, concerns read on the live stream today, make sure you hit up that link in the description down below. YouTube and Rumble will have the link. If you guys are watching on the other platforms, I'm very surprised because I don't think anybody watches this live stream anywhere else except YouTube and Rumble. So we're just going to run with that. And what else is going on? It's personal news. Finally, Candace has come home from her surgery. If you guys did not know, she had her kidney plucked. She is now a one kidney woman. She is sore. She is all kinds of incisioned up, but she is healing, and she's doing good. She got up this morning to help me with the kids, put them on the bus, and then she sat on the couch for a while with me, and then she went back and laid down in the bed. So she is moving around. She's very stiff. She's in lots of pain, but the healing process begins. So that also means the countdown to when I finally get back out there on the road with Adam and hit it hard. Hit it hard. We got some plans. We're definitely going to we're definitely not going to be slacking off. It kind of sucks though because it's going to be cold. It's so hard to work through the winter, but we're going to push through it. Get some good clothes. I actually got a pair of pants that I finally got to wear today. They got that thermal lining inside them. Those things are warm. I actually had to change because it warmed up today too much. But yep, that's what we're going to do. So how are you guys doing? Before we get started, jump into the chat, see how everybody's doing. I've never heard of anyone passing away from smelling carry-on. Don't know what that means, but we'll run with that. How is Candace? Just told you guys she is home. There we go. Sorry, just got on. How is Candace? Yep. I'm pretty sure you guys caught all that what I just said. Wonder if it's underneath the cabin. Yes, the wonderful smell of decomposition is it very well could be under the cabin because it's not secured. Critters come and go underneath this thing. So who knows? And guess who's going to be crawling under there to find out? Wish my kids would do it, but that's just messed up. So I don't know if you guys have heard, because I got a lot of international people watching this. I got a lot of people from all over the country watching this, but it doesn't even run with what we're talking about today. But how about we talk about that the second half, because it has nothing to do with missing people. Well, it kind of does, but it's not even political. But I've been watching the news about the court, the case of the dude that allegedly killed Laken Riley here in Georgia. And the more details I've heard about this, the more it makes my blood boil, right? And I want to talk about it, essentially just how just the certain things about this case and about this guy and about this whole Venezuelan thing coming into here, this and like how, the whole profiling thing, and like, and I was talking to Candace about this today, and it's bothering me because like it just seems there's so much danger out there now. How do you protect yourself without looking like you're profiling, or somebody will start calling you racist because you're looking at everybody like they're a criminal? But how do you know nowadays? So that's something I just kind of wanted to BS about, so to speak. But we'll just see what happens. We're just going to run with it. So let me see here. The case I wanted to talk about, we'll start this right off the bat. There was a Mississippi jailhouse here in what is that place called? Here, let me see if I can find the details about this really quick. But Jackson, Mississippi. That there's a lady there, Latasha, that we was searching for. So we've been there, never even heard about this. Would have been crazy to go take a look. But this is like a story of neglect, heartbreak, and the community is demanding justice. Now, immediately I noticed right off the bat, it doesn't seem like there's any follow-ups to this story, right? But so behind the Hinds County Detention Center, right, around 215 bodies were discovered buried in unmarked graves. And hold on, I thought I was going to burp and I didn't want to be rude. So an act that feels more like discarding humanity than honoring it. So these graves, many identified only by a number and a metal rod, reflect a chilling lack of care for the deceased and their families. So the discovery has sent shockwaves through the community and beyond, raising critical questions about how this all was allowed to happen to begin with. If you saw the thumbnail to today's live stream, that is an actual picture of the grave site behind this jail, and they're not lying. It's just pieces of metal with paint slapped, and that's it. And it's pretty gruesome the way like it was. This all went down, and over 200 bodies. That's a lot. So the story came to light through the persistence of grieving families, including Betterston Wade. Hold on. Every night. You hear that? So obnoxious. I mean, I get it. It's fun, but jeez, man. Oh my gosh, dude. You're ruining my live stream. It's like a whole gang of straight piped crotch rockets going by. Yep, that gets old really quick. It's cold outside too. These guys are hard chargers. Let's see here. So, like I said, the families including Betterston Wade, who tragically lost their son Dexter Wade in March of 2023. Now, Dexter was killed in an accident involving an off-duty police officer. And yet his mother wasn't informed for months. Despite him carrying ID, he was buried in a pauper's grave without her knowledge. I'm not too sure what a pauper is. P-A-U-P-E-R. Pauper's grave. She only found out through relentless questionings and the help of advocates. Now, imagine the heartbreak of learning your loved one was treated this way. So Dexter, he isn't alone. The other families have come forward with similar stories. Gretchen Hankins, for example, who discovered a year and 7 months after filing a missing persons report that her son has been buried without her being told. The grave site's conditions were so poor that scavengers were drawn to the stench of the unembalmed bodies left in shallow pits. Families were even asked to pay $250 to obtain death certificates and reclaim their loved ones, compounding their grief with financial and bureaucratic hurdles. That is the biggest crap, dude. Right off the bat, I mean, what do you guys think? That's pretty bad, right? I mean, what the hell's going on in Jackson, Mississippi, where they can just they can pull this off? I mean, I'm kind of glad it came to light. Now, obviously, this is from January, so I'm kind of curious whatever came of it, because I couldn't find anything past January. Maybe you guys can help me out on that one. So the magnitude of this revelation is staggering. Activists like Arthur Silky Slim Reed and attorneys, including, not a surprise, Ben Crump, are calling for a federal investigation urging accountability for these violations of basic human dignity. And he's not wrong. This isn't just about Jackson. It's about addressing systematic failures in how we handle the most vulnerable among us. I can't help but think 215 bodies and a couple of these stories right off the bat, their loved one was missing for 7 months just to find out that his body was buried in this mass gravesite behind the jail. I'm kind of curious. Like I said, January, is anybody even locked up from this yet? This sounds illegal as hell. Like illegal. What is that called? I don't know. Some kind of improper. Something about a corpse. It's not desecration of a corpse. It could be, but illegal, like improper burial of a corpse. I'm not sure what that is, but even still, seems like somebody should definitely be locked up. And then I wonder, what about Latasha? She's from Jackson. We've searched for her. Couldn't find her. She's missing in her car. Her husband, or he was estranged, he is now dead, and everybody thought he's the one that did it. So nobody knows what happened to her. Do you think maybe he figured out a way to get rid of that car, and maybe she was one of these 200 bodies out there? I don't know. But from the lack of notification to the families, to the appalling conditions of the grave sites, this story forces us to confront uncomfortable truths about how society values or devalues certain lives. Man, got something going on in my stomach. But it also highlights the power of persistence. These families' determination to seek justice has already ignited a broader conversation about dignity, respect, and the rights of the deceased and their loved ones. As we discuss this today, remember that this just isn't that it isn't just news, it's a wake-up call. A call to ensure every person, regardless of their circumstance, is treated with humanity in life and in death. Man, what do you guys what the hell's going on in Jackson? How do you get away with something like that? So I tried to find the most recent news story. I don't know if you guys found anything better than me, but this was still January, and it was the Hilltop is the news that put this out, and it's very long. You can look this up, but like they go along the same thing. There's nothing else here. It said it made regional and national headlines, but yet I don't know if anything ever came of it. They said that there was a foul smell that was coming from this place. There were buzzards at the grave sites, shallow graves. That's bonkers. Hundreds of bodies too, not 10 or 12 or 13. 215 bodies. No photo while fixing the rainbow. I know, right? I did it right. Apparently, you don't want to push the button too hard, or else you get a weird picture of me looking at the camera. But I got it figured out. Yeah. So as I scanned through this story, it said since 2008, approximately 330 people have been buried at the cemetery based on reports. An extensive log that is 14 pages in length. The cemetery has 632 handwritten names listed and includes information such as birth and death, gender, age, race, where it fallen. So this is an ongoing thing. So I wonder why they said, as a filmmaker, I'm not surprised to hear that Mississippi had 215 unmarked graves. I bet that's low end, to be honest with you. Kill Jackson police officer. That's kind of wild there too. Dexter Wade was killed by a Jackson police officer, and they just threw his body in a shallow grave. That's something you hear in the movies. It shouldn't even be legal. Not even close to legal, right? I'm kind of curious, like as it says right here, one of the family, I want them to lose their jobs because they didn't do their job. Obviously, at the very least, somebody should get fired. That's crazy. I'm trying to scan through to see if anybody like got in trouble, but it doesn't seem like it. The story ends with it's distressing and heartbreaking. It sends a message of emotions, shockwaves, sadness, anger. The family deserves better. They deserve answers, and that's it. That's crazy, right? So I missed a lot, didn't I? Julie, you missed the first story. Not too much. We're talking about 215 bodies found behind a Jackson jail in shallow, unmarked graves. I would recommend you Google that because there's a lot more details out there about this. But long story short, man, like how many other missing people are in Namus that could possibly be in this mass gravesite, right? How many people could be out there? There isn't a marking, right? They say 215, but then you went up here since 2008, approximately 330 people have been buried. The cemetery has 672 handwritten names listed. How many people are buried out there that nobody knows of? How many missing people from Mississippi or from Jackson who could be out there? And are the funds available to start, what's that E word called? Digging them up, digging people up and doing the DNA test and seeing who they actually are? I would pretty confidently say that's not going to happen. I don't know if you guys are from Jackson. I don't know if you guys have ever been there. It definitely is not one of the places that you think of when you want to go on a nice vacation. I'm not dissing it. We've been there, and there is definitely a lot at this place that a lot of places in Jacksonville you don't want to go to. To say, like, long story short, I bet there's a lot of corrupt stuff going on because when you go to places that have high crime like this, you also have lots of corruption in their local government, right? And that's just. Sadly, that's just how it is. If people can get away with it, they're going to do it, you know. Not everybody is good people like us. I don't know. Maybe one of you guys out there could be one of those people. I highly doubt it, though, because you're watching me. That means we're all on the same page. We're on the up and up. Well, we'll just leave it at that. Rob says there's no answers yet, so they're still investigating, ? It's disturbing. Yep. Hart Island in New York is a pauper's grave and still in use. So what does paupers mean? I'm very curious about that. Paupers definition? Let's see what it says. A person destitute of means except such are derived charities. It might not be where I'm looking for. A pauper is a person who is extremely poor and has no means of support. So I guess like this is a grave site or a cemetery for people who, you know, didn't have the funds for a proper burial. Like they don't have any family. Homeless people, maybe. People who died in prison that didn't have any family, that didn't care. Something like that. That's probably what a pauper is. Poor, yeah. Hey, we'll run with that. So the investigation continues. I really hope it's been like 10 months. What is it, January? 11 months. Be kind of nice to get some closure, find that out. Well, I'd be kind of curious how many missing people are out there, to be honest with you. But so let me share my screen with you really quick. Let me show you this lady. This is Hannah Kobayashi, and she is missing after she missed a flight from LA airport. So it looks like the family obtained security footage, and it shows Kobayashi leaving the airport on November 8th wearing a black hooded sweatshirt, tie-dyed leggings, and dark green packback. Pigeon... who's Pigeon? I started way down below. Sorry about that. Let's see. So she's 31. She was last heard from November 11th. Her family says after she had missed a connecting flight from Maui to New York City. Well, that's kind of crazy because I didn't even realize the other story that I have on here is about the gentleman missing from Maui too. What is going on? What's going on? Is Maui like a bad luck place now? So she's 5'10", 140, brown hair, eyes, fair skin, freckles. Family filed a missing persons report in L.A. November 12th. Let's see. Lori Pigeon, that's Kobayashi's aunt, said that the family received texts from Kobayashi that were out of character just before her disappearance. Let's see. November 11th, they started getting texts saying that she didn't feel safe, that someone was trying to steal her funds, and that someone was trying to take her identity. Weird things, calling us babe, things that weren't quite the normal way that she speaks. It's a big red flag right there. And like I said, that they have security footage of her leaving the airport November 8th. And she said Kobayashi has been seen twice at the Grove Shopping Center, 10 miles from LAX. And she was seen once around noon by employees. And let me see, shopping center, Tesson bookstore, November 9th. And was seen on video at a Nike event around 3:40 p.m. November 10th. 2-day Nike and LeBron James event. So then she returned to the LAX November 11th, but she didn't get on the flight. And according to the family, see right here, Kobayashi's phone, which has an Audrey Hepburn case. Audrey Hepburn case. I don't know what that means. It last ping at the LAX November 11th, but she hasn't been found. That's crazy. That sucks. The family released a statement Sunday night saying they had obtained surveillance of Kobayashi in the vicinity of Pico Metro Station near Crypto.com Arena in downtown LA. Huh. So it did appear she didn't appear to be in good condition, and she is not alone. Ongoing investigation. So if you guys are in the LA area, if this makes any sense to you guys, all these places, be on the lookout for this lady. I don't know, she's out there somewhere, and something's going on that I would love to know more. I mean, it sounds like, and I don't know what it sounds like, because it sounds like she wasn't alone. She wasn't in good. She looked like she wasn't in good condition, but that's weird. I'm trying to read here a little bit more, see what else it says, but yeah, long story short, let's see if we can get her face out there, see if anybody recognizes that face in the LA area. You might just be able to save this woman. Let's see here. So that was what she was wearing, I guess, the last time that she was seen. It's pretty hard to not spot those tie-dye leggings. So I know Audrey Hepburn was an actress, but I don't know what it said Audrey Hepburn phone case. It's kind of maybe it's just a picture of her on her or something. Let's see here. Man, I hope she shows up. Missing people, man. I tell you what, it's a hell of a business trying to do what we can to search for missing folks. It kind of takes a drain every so often when you there's so many missing people out there in the world, and like very rarely does it feel like you get to hear good stories, right? Of people coming home, like, oh, this missing person was found safe and sound. It does happen. It happens all the time. But the math of how many missing people there are versus how many missing people are found safe and alive, it's not really balancing out. And it really sucks because it's always bad news versus good news. And man, you gotta have thick skin, I guess, so to speak. But so this is a really sad story, to be honest with you, but it was a life-saving sad story. And this is the gentleman who sadly lost his life. And the story that I came across today is pretty darn brutal, but apparently this gentleman's head was found washed ashore on Key Biscayne. A shore in Key Biscayne belonged to his 19-year-old swimmer. He disappeared after saving his sister's life in Miami Beach last weekend. I guess on Saturday evening, Miami Beach police responded after calls about a swimmer in distress. The swimmer was 19-year-old Victor, whose family members said had gone into the water with his younger sister. I guess that's her right there, and that's older bro. They got caught in a rip current, and the younger sister made it to safety, but Victor vanished in the water, and they searched Saturday and Sunday before suspending their efforts, and Tuesday morning, I guess, is when they found his remains. And medical examiner made the confirmation. So, Jesus. Sometimes when I share these stories, after I get done like talking about it, I kind of have this dumb feeling in my mind. I was like, why the hell did I even share that? You know, at the same time, I was like, God, that's graphic. It sucks. It's heartbreaking news. But at the same time, Victor is being looked at as a hero. You know, he didn't go out into the water because he was drunk. You know, he wasn't doing something stupid he shouldn't have. Now he was with this little sister, and the story goes he saved his little sister's life, and sadly he passed away because of it. So yes, he will forever be looked at as a hero in his family and friends' eyes, and whoever else reads the story. But sadly, he's not around to enjoy the attention, which is, it's heartbreaking. It's bittersweet. The bittersweet is a big thing. I don't know shark attack, but there's lots going on in the ocean. So if he drowned and the rip current carried him out quite a ways, yeah, he probably got, chewed on a little bit, so to speak. But I don't know. At least it's crazy that it was his head, but at least they know for a fact he's gone. They have parts of him to bury. It's so hard to talk about this, to be honest with you. But I don't know. It could. It might have been. Miami's got a lot of life down there too. So I don't know. Rip currents are kind of wild, though. I don't know if you guys have ever been caught in a rip current. It's very easy to panic, and if you're out on the beach and you get caught in one of these things, because it pulls you out into the ocean, and it's spooky, and you can't get away from it. And the more because you try to swim to land, but you can't fight it, right? And then you get exhausted, and that's when bad things happen. You know, you'll drown, because very rarely do people who get caught in a rip current, they keep their head and they say swim to the side, swim out of the current, and then come back in. But like, I've been in rip currents before. I would say lucky at the same time, but like, I didn't panic. I knew, I was like, ooh man, this current is strong. So I just kind of went with it, and just kind of just spit me out off the side, and then I just rode the surf back in. I didn't think nothing of it until I realized, like, oh, that could have been bad. But and as it shows, like, people drown in rip currents all the time. So swim parallel to the shore. That's the word. You always swim parallel. Yeah, I mean, it's easy to say, But then when you get somebody who's not used to the ocean currents, not used to water, not a good swimmer, and then all of a sudden they get sucked out from a rip current, panic sets in fast, and you forget everything. The only thing you could think about is don't drown, and you swim yourself to exhaustion. And then before you know it, there's nothing you can do. It's heartbreaking. That's the word, parallel. Yep, absolutely. Rob, I've never been to the ocean, but I've heard the horror stories of rip currents. Man, Rob, I thought you got to go to the ocean. You don't have to go swimming, but go check it out. It's pretty cool. I personally have never been scuba diving in the ocean, believe it or not. I go, I dive all the time. Believe it or not, I'm still a diver. I'm a diver and a talk show host. Just saying. But, yeah, I've never been to the ocean, and I don't really care to unless there's a big reason to, because in the ocean, I'm not top dog. I'm not the alpha, right? I'm not the predator. I am food for bigger animals and fish, and that scares me a little bit. I don't want to become a statistic of a big giant shark bite. I don't want to get stung by jellyfish. I don't want to step on a sea urchin. I don't know. All the little critters out there are spooky. At least in the lakes and rivers that I dive in, they're terrifying to dive in because you can't see anything. But at least I know in the back of my head, there's nothing out here that's going to eat me. There's nothing out here that's going to, bite me in half. Now, unless I'm in, Florida with alligators and stuff. But around here, Georgia, Tennessee, Kentucky, all these, nothing's going to eat me, right? So at least I feel safe that way. But yeah, ocean's scary. I really don't have a reason to go to the ocean either. If somebody said there's a sunken ship with lots of treasures and gold, then I'd probably give it a shot. But other than that, I'm not just going to look around. That might change someday. Who knows? Talk show host or not, you're 1,000% better than The View. I would hope so. I would really hope so. Because that show sucks. I don't understand how that thing is still on TV. It is the worst show ever. I've never seen a show filled with such brain dead, no knowledge, no research, racist ass women, right? You guys gotta agree with me on that. I mean, I could vent about that show forever because they always show highlights on TV about these women saying something stupid and they have no idea what they're talking about. And I'm just like, how are they still on the air? This is so bad. It's cringy as hell. But I guess I don't want to go there. But you guys understand my frustration with that one. So let's see. The last story I wanted to share with you guys was there's a missing person in Zebulon, North Carolina. Now, for some reason, I've been hearing that name a lot. It's a name you don't forget. But this story just came out yesterday, but it was updated this morning. And the crews are still searching for a person who's possibly ejected during a Wake County wreck late Sunday night near Zebulon. The crash was reported around 9:25 p.m., the 4400 block of Hopkins Chapel Road at the intersection of Dukes Lake Road off NC 96 and north of Zebulon. And this story wasn't updated. We're going to dive into that here in a minute. But from what they're saying right here, the person who was possibly ejected and possibly missing following the crash, I'm curious. I'm going to go back here. Zebulon. Let's just Google this. They got to have answers by now. Zebulon ejection crash victim? Let's see if something comes up. Search for possible missing person, 19 hours, 9 hours ago. That's the story I actually just read. 5 hours ago, search underway. This kind of sounds like this guy wasn't ejected and is still laying there. This sounds like this guy left. I've seen that before. I've come across, believe it or not, I came across a car, me and my buddy, a long time ago. We're talking teenage years. We're driving home in the middle of the night. We're on the main stretch, a couple miles from my house. Go around a corner. I had to slam on the brakes because there's a vehicle upside down in the middle of the road. Nobody's around. And me and my buddy were like, holy crap, we thought this just happened. There's got to be victims. And we were the kind of guys, believe it or not, I'm going to say that a lot. We like to help. I mean, that was just it. If we can help, we'll help. That's how we was. We was troublemakers. We would go out and break stuff. We would drink. We would do all the typical stuff like you would do as a teenager. But also, if we come across a car accident, it was just in our nature to help. Which is a good trait. So, with that being said, I told you that to tell you this, that such a chain of events that happened. I'm at my house working on my car, right? Me and my buddy, right there, same thing. My dad leaves to go to the store or do something like that. He leaves, and all of a sudden, like a minute later, he comes flying back, and I immediately know he's driving really fast. I'm like, what the hell's his problem? What's he doing? And he flies up the road, and he's like, screams out the window. He's like, hey, there's a trailer on fire down the street. Call the fire department. I was like, oh, crap. I call the fire department. I tell them exactly where the fire is. I get off the phone. I run down the street. Sure enough, there's this old single wide on fire. Smoke's coming out the windows. You can't see any flames yet, but you can tell there's a fire inside this thing. And it's good. And me and my friend really didn't know what to do. So we just like kind of was running around this trailer, like listening. We could hear somebody was inside. We could hear him fumbling around, falling, like talking and stuff like that. And we were trying to yell. We were like, there's like, go to the door. But the smoke was thick, right? Very thick. So we keep doing that. And then me and my buddy separate. And like, I'm at the front of the house and he's at the rear. And he gets the rear door open. Now, granted, we didn't know anything about fires, the whole backdraft. You open the door, there's a big explosion. Luckily, there wasn't. He got the back door open, and he just reached in and found the dude. The dude made it to the back door, collapsed from smoke inhalation, and he started yelling for me. I run back there. We kind of crawl into the back where the smoke was. We find him. I grab him by the seat of his pants, and we drug him out. And we get him out front. Long story short, we saved the dude's life. He regained consciousness. We went and saw him at the hospital. We're teenagers, by the way. And we did all of this. We went to see him at the hospital, stuff like that. It was a really cool story. My school ate it up because we made the newspapers and all that stuff. And then like 2 weeks later, there was a car accident that me and my buddy also, this guy was ejected. The car rolled and landed on him. There's 2 little feet sticking out from underneath his car. And we just got there as it happened. People are pulling over. They're freaking out. Nobody knows what to do. And eventually, like, everybody gets under the car, lifts it up. And then I guess I was the one who got unofficially picked. I'm the one that crawled under the car. I grabbed him by his pants, drug him out away from the car, and he was smashed. This guy was cut up. It was bloody. I see people were dry heaving. It was interesting. I don't know if that guy lived or not, but yeah. So needless to say, me and my buddy were like, yeah, this is just kind of what we did, second nature. If somebody needed help, we would help them. So we go back to the original story where the car was upside down. We come around the corner, there's nobody there, right? A cop shows up. Like, I think we called a cop or something. He shows up, and we're like, hey, there's nobody in this car. And the cop's like, really? And I was like, yeah, there's nobody here. There's nobody in the car. I don't know what's going on. And the cop really didn't care. It was kind of concerning because the first thing in my mind, me and my buddy, was like, what if this dude got ejected? So we're walking around in the woods with flashlights, and looking for this guy, thinking maybe he's laying in the woods somewhere. And we never found him. And then come to find out, he wrecked, and I think he was drunk. He didn't want to get in trouble, so his drunk ass just decided to leave the scene. And I don't know whatever happened up with that. But maybe this is the same thing in Zebulon. Maybe this guy got into a wreck, and he just got up and left. He didn't want to get in trouble. Maybe he's wanted. Maybe he's got drugs. Maybe he's drunk as hell. Who knows? But maybe he wasn't ejected at all. Maybe he just left, and he'll show up when he sobers up, I'm pretty sure there's going to be an answer to that one, though. You are an omen of pending doom. That's a dark way to put it, man, but you're probably right. So, hold on one second here. All right. So we'll see. We'll see about that. We'll see what happens if he shows up. I'm going to imagine. I'm just going to call it. I think What is that story? Something else just popped up in front of me. I wonder if he was ever found. Here's another story just randomly popped up in front of me. There's a search for a missing man underway in Zebulon after he walked away from his job site. And, wait a minute. I totally forgot about something. Yeah. All right, pause on that one. I totally forgot about the other person I want to talk about. This gentleman here, he was the other person, a Nebraska man. He fails to return to his Maui hotel room. So somewhere on the island of Maui, this gentleman is missing, and the Maui police are requesting assistance. Any information about Derek Kingery, 32, out of Nebraska. And he was reported missing yesterday, and he failed to return to his, I can't even pronounce that, Kihei hotel room, maybe? He was last seen at the hotel walking towards the beach by other guests, 5'11", 155. It says blonde hair, blue eyes, man, but that don't look blonde to me. He looks a little little red, a little gingery, right? I would say almost he's more red than blonde. What the hell was that? Oh, nighttime noises, man. Let me see. He had no vehicle and his cell phone is turned off. And that's all they know. So hopefully he shows back up. Karen, the short answer is home and recovering. Ah, yeah. Update on Candace and Fiona. I will do that here in just a second. But yeah, if you guys are in Maui or you recognize this face, make sure you guys call somebody. It sounds like he disappeared walking to the beach. So does that mean he took a swim and maybe rip current got him and pulled him out? Hawaii's waters, I've been there and seen them. Some of them are very dangerous. You know, they got big ass waves. Oh my gosh, dude, that just reminded me of a story. I was actually in Hawaii when I was in the military, and I went snorkeling at Hanauama Bay, and it's like the premier spot on Oahu, where Honolulu is and where the base is and all that stuff. Pearl Harbor, I think. Sorry. But I remember this is when I wasn't very smart. Me and my buddies, we went snorkeling, and we've been drinking all day, and we're like, let's go snorkeling like idiots, you know, half inebriated. And we was out in the water for hours, and I saw a giant fish. Now, if I was sober, I would not have been in the water with this fish. I guess it was a sea barracuda. It was big. It was a big fish, but I'm drunk, so I'm like snorkeling, looking down, like, what a cool fish, just bloop, 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 swimming along, minding my business. Next thing I know, it hits me. I was like, I think this fish is leading me out to sea. I think he's luring me to his buddies. And so I was like, and I also realized I couldn't see the bottom of the ocean anymore. So I'm like, maybe I should stop swimming and look and see where I'm at. So I pop my head up and look around. I don't see no land. And I was like, that's not good. And then finally a wave goes down, and there's land a ways away. And I'm like, oh, that's not good at all. And so I was like, well, I guess I better start swimming. And that's what I did. I started just using my fins and just swimming back, just looking up, just making sure to look up. It probably took me 3 hours to get back to the water. Hold on. Oh, I took a picture. I've got to figure out this. Oh my gosh. But yeah, it took about 3 hours. I got back, and like I ain't even making this up. You can vision this in your head. It's almost like a TV show. I just kept swimming, and then there's like the beach and the sand, and I didn't even like put my hands up. I just like into the sand, and I'm just laying there like, oh. I was so tired, and then I finally get up, and I'm like, I made it. Nobody's on the beach. The sun has set, except for my friend and the guys that we rented the snorkel gear from. They're still there waiting on me. I'm the last customer. They was almost ready to call the Coast Guard. I was like, yeah, there's a dead person out there in the bay, probably drunk, but I've made it back. And I tell you what, do as I say, not as I do. Don't go snorkeling drunk. At least out there. Maybe stick to the pools or something, because man, Another lucky break for me, because that very well could have ended way worse. Way worse. So, yeah. But, so let me see here. 46 minutes into the live stream. I think we got some time to go over some questions, comments, concerns you guys may want to talk about. And there was something I did want to talk about, see what you guys thought. And essentially, it really has nothing to do with missing people, except for the fact that this poor young lady who died was missing for a brief amount of time, but sadly she was found beaten to death and murdered and left in the dirt by this horrible person who was an illegal immigrant who snuck into the country, and apparently he's one of these psychos from Venezuela. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, just look up Laken Riley. She was the young nurse lady who's in school, a nursing student, who was attacked by this Venezuelan monster. And now the trial is going on and all the details are coming out. And evil happens daily. Evil is happening right now as we're talking, right? So, but when you start hearing the details, you start hearing the cops, you start hearing there was a phone call. She managed to call 911 during the attack, and there's a recording of her getting beaten to death. They have that recording, and it's not much, but you can just close your eyes and envision what is happening in this recording, and it's traumatizing to say the least. And then you have her Apple Watch that actually recorded the time that her heart stopped. Which is horrible. And then you have the parents that are sitting in the courtroom listening to all of this. And I don't even know these people, and my heart breaks in half with what they're going through right now and what they have to go through, right? And then you got this guy who's sitting there, who is the bad guy. I don't care how they spin it. This is the dude that did it. Doesn't understand a lick of English. He actually has a public defender that is defending him, which I don't understand how some people can do it. I know that there's a system. There's just, everybody has a right to trial. Everybody has a right to counsel. But how do you find a lawyer to defend you in court, knowing that you're the monster that did this? Like, I know for a fact that guy did this, but I'm still going to defend him. It's not that the lawyer is a bad person, right? Because typically it's a public defender, and they have to defend him or they could lose their license, right? Or what if they defend him and then they throw the case and still, I could never imagine. I could never be a police officer because of the adrenaline that I get when I get put in certain situations. So every time I pull over someone, I'd be like, just amped up. I couldn't do it. Same with being a defendant. What do you call those? Lawyers for the bad guys. I couldn't do that either. It was like, I know you did it. But now I'm going to try to get you off so you can go do it again or worse. That's a messed up system, right? Outside looking in, man. Let me pause here for a minute. Go through these comments really quick. I got here late. News on Zellwig. I got here late. You know what? I'm flying by the seat of my pants, so I don't even know if Zellwig was somebody that we talked about today. Oh, never mind. You're talking about Zelig Williams, the Broadway dancer that went missing. From what I've heard, there is no update. Let me see. I Googled his name 5 days ago. It says YouTuber local adventurer aids in the search for missing Broadway actor. Who are they talking about? Well. Look at this story I just came across. Our very own Adam Brown Adventures. This is his there's his RC boat. He's searching some lakes and stuff. How cool is that? Went missing for over a month ago. Yeah, so Adam went out searching. Looks like the news picked up on it and did a story on him. I think I read the story already once and they completely butchered it. Local adventurer and founder of the nonprofit organization Adam Brown Adventures. They completely butchered that. That's his YouTube and social media channel. And then I think down here they did it again. Here's like his team partnered with the nonprofit Rapid CC Brown. So yeah, and man, I actually asked Adam about that. I was like, dude, that news agent, they completely butchered the story. And he's like, dude, you don't even know. Because like obviously, he wants our nonprofit to get the word out. So they like the news just completely butchers it. And I was like, thanks guys. I mean, it's great that it's always fun to make the news, but oh my gosh, get the story right? So poor Adam, can't get a break, but at least they got his name right, And the search continues, but yeah, there is no update. This guy is still missing, and it's very weird because he's missing on foot. We know where his car was. We know his last known location that he was physically seen, but yet can't find him. I'm still guessing he's somewhere in the woods. I'm thinking the longer this gets drawn out, I'm guessing he's passed away. Where? No idea. And how? No idea. This is an area that has lots of gators in these ponds. So that could be an issue. If he somehow made it in the water, they might not find him. Or they might only find a piece of him. Unfortunately. It's very graphic to think about, but it is possible. So nope, the search continues for that. All right. So anyway, let's continue talking about this. All right. So this is what's been driving me nuts, and it has nothing to do with missing people, except for the fact that this poor girl, like I said, Laken Riley, she was out for a jog, and she was stalked, and she was attacked, and she was attempted to be assaulted sexually. And she fought back, and she got beat to death by someone who snuck into the country illegally from Venezuela, right? Now, you look at a picture of this guy, and he looks, to me, he looks like a Hispanic male, right? So where do you, my questions really are, where do you go? How do you go through life now in the future? Because I understand profiling, right? I understand racism. I understand all of that stuff. But at the same time, Kate, if you're a realist and you have to realize how many millions of people just freely walked into our country, and that's not a political thing either. I'm not like, oh, Republican this or oh, Democrat that. That's just a freaking fact that millions of people were set free or illegally snuck into our country, period, from all walks of the planet. And a lot of these people are bad people, right? And it's happening more and more and more, especially with this Venezuelan thing, that people are getting killed, people are getting raped, people are getting murdered, all these horrible things are happening. How do you protect yourself without being branded a racist, because that word gets thrown around so much now, it hardly doesn't mean anything, because every time you say something, you're a racist, anytime you say something, racist. I think it's a dumb word. It's so diluted. It doesn't mean shit anymore. But, yeah, his brother's here illegally. Hell, his whole family's probably here illegally. But my question is, how do you protect yourself without becoming that guy? Be like, oh, like you walk down the street and you see 3 or 4 people walking towards you of Hispanic, they look Hispanic. I got no problems with Mexicans. I got no problem with anybody, right? I give everybody the benefit of the doubt. But then at the same time, will giving somebody the benefit of the doubt get them killed because they thought they would be safe walking down the street, when in fact, now you have some kind of crazy Haitian, Venezuelan, some weird gang that you'd never even heard of, and next thing you know, you get your face bashed in. You was just out for a jog, you was enjoying life, and you get attacked, and then you get murdered. You get murdered. How do you make sense of any of that? Because now you're like, well, I don't want to be branded a racist. I don't want to get canceled. I don't want to profile somebody. But if you don't profile, how do you protect yourself? you can't go through life now giving everybody the benefit of the doubt when you have no clue, when the numbers are against you now, right? It's not so, everything is gray. It's not just black and white anymore, right? It's just like there's so much danger now, right? And gosh, do you remember the video in New York of the cop trying to make an arrest, and there's like 5 other dudes like beating the shit out of these cops, and then like they end up walking free a couple of days later because the justice system in New York is so whack. It bothers me, especially it bothers me when you have a young, cute nursing student. She's got her whole life ahead of her. She's got wonderful friends. She's got a wonderful family. She's out for a jog. She's fit. She's staying in shape. She thinks she's safe, but in real life, she's getting stalked by a vicious person who's not even from this country and has no business being in this country. And now she dies in the most brutal way you could think of. She gets her face smashed in, and they have it. It's a horrible story, right? But what are you supposed to do to protect yourself? Do you just assume you're safe? You're like, well, I need to go for a jog, but I don't want to go out in the evening because, there's people out there. So now you got to sacrifice everything you do because there is so much more danger out there in the world, right? Or in the country, in your town. Hell, Tennessee, I just saw a story. All 4 of the major cities in Tennessee, Nashville, Knoxville, Memphis, there's one more big one, Chattanooga, that they've been infiltrated by this Venezuelan gang. Like they've said this on the news. It's in mainstream media. I don't know how can't really believe too much what they say, but they're talking about it. So something's going on. Isn't that weird how they can say that? Like, do you think? I don't want to say anything about Canada because they're worse off than we are, but in a normal society, you don't just get to walk into another country and do whatever the hell you want, right? So I'm just blown away on how crazy this is and how many people are dying because of this. And I don't know, the Laken Riley one hits me a little close to home because, like, I'm sure you guys got daughters, I got a daughter, and I definitely don't want to send my daughter off to go to school somewhere, assuming she's going to be safe, only to find out that she was brutally murdered by somebody that has no business even being here to begin with. I don't know. That's just my thought process. I wanted to vent about it a little bit and see what happens. So, Buddy Scat Mom. Damn. It's a hell of a name you got there. Other than that, I just want to get that off my chest. What can you do? Do you profile? Do you protect yourself, or you just assume it'll never happen to me? I don't know. It's pretty scary, though. You might want to protect yourself. I know one thing. I'm never unarmed. And that's just how it really should be nowadays. The only person that's going to keep you safe is yourself. So might as well pack heat and make sure everybody knows it. So that's my 2 cents. The reason I said Canada is worse off because the stories I've been hearing about how, like, for instance, I would post a news story link on Facebook, and then I would get a message saying, hey, can you send me that link directly, or can you just post the story without the link? That way I can see it, because our government doesn't allow us to read news stories on Facebook. And I'm like, dang. So they're censoring Facebook. I guess stuff like that. The whole, just look it up. I mean, I don't want to. I'm not dissing Canada as a. I'm with the people of Canada. Let's put it that way. But the way the government's running that place, it's turning it into a shit show, just like this country. So let's just hope stuff. Let's just hope we get a little break. I don't know what's going to happen the next 4 years, but who knows? Don't mess with my dogs. It's always been that way. Canada has issues. How's Canada? They have weapons, probably. Don't trust anyone. That's the problem. I hate saying that, but like you really can't trust anyone now. you know, and like I want to trust my neighbors. I actually do trust my one neighbor because he's the one that sold me this place. He's a good guy. I'd probably run to him if I needed help. But not everybody's like that. So I don't usually agree. Actually, you know what I didn't do really quick? I was gonna, before I jump off of here, I totally forgot. We got I was just reading the stories. Have you been watching the videos from East Tennessee, North Carolina? I don't think you'd be able to find anyone under all that mud without a cadaver dog. True and true. But our plan is to go to the lakes where the rivers feed into the lakes, and we're just going to start there. We'll scan sonar, see what we see, and if we see structures, if we see remains of houses, cars, stuff like that, we're going to dive all of that. And we're going to essentially sift and just see if we come across any remains. We know there's still a lot of people missing from that area. We know lots of people are probably in the river, probably buried, never to be seen again. But you know what? It's worth a shot. Might as well give it a shot instead of just saying, meh. Well, we would, but no, I don't like that idea. I've always liked, well, we tried our best and we failed, or we tried our best and we found them. You know, but the whole maybe, you know, I've never been that kind of person. Like, we would try, but I don't think XYZ. I don't like that. I want to at least try and fail. You know, like, yeah, we tried, we dove all day, we didn't find nothing but mud. You know, but at least we know that one section doesn't have any missing people in it. That's how I always think about it. I don't know if you guys have been hearing these dogs, man, but holy crap, they bark nonstop. Well, you know what? I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. We had a pretty good audience tonight. Make sure you guys go check out rapidcc.org. That's our nonprofit. And if you feel like donating, go for it. If not, just make sure to like and subscribe, watch our videos. We make money doing that too. And ultimately, we're getting back on the road. We're going to get Candace all fixed up, get her healed up pretty much. And then me and Adam are back at it. So make sure you guys are subscribed, and if you're part of the Nug Nation, I appreciate it. If not, head over to Rumble and hit that red button, Nug Nation. Become part of the Nug Nation, and more content, and ultimately your support keeps our channels for free for you guys to watch. Appreciate you guys hanging out with me. Let's do this again Wednesday, and if you guys got anything you want to send me, you guys anything you want to talk about, message me on Facebook or email me directly, and I'll be sure to look into it, and we'll talk about it and go from there. Until we meet again, I will see you guys Wednesday.